historian, the best mathematician, the best wrestler, the best cellist. They're looking for commitment and excellence. So going through life as a participant is not good enough if you want to be the best. And I remember my social studies teacher in 7th grade, Mrs. York, and maybe it was 8th grade. We were talking. She was talking about I was very mediocre in a lot of little things, but my energy and my focus at that time, and don't get me wrong, I stayed out of trouble, did things right, but I was very focused on wrestling. And I remember people guys teasing me because I had a hard time reading growing up. I was smart enough that I got caught. I was 3rd grade. I couldn't read until 3rd grade. I would go, and I got caught because I would go to Sunday school, and my mother would give me money for the collection tape, for the collection plate. And I remember they brought out it was different books, and they said, okay, where was when would Noah or Genesis or whatever, and I couldn't read the names on books, and I was so humiliated that I started sneaking around, going away, playing at campus. It was called campus casino. I would play Shark Attack, or I'd play video games, or not video games back then. I played pinball, and I got caught. I got caught sneaking back because I'd have to sneak back, and then my mom would wait and pick me up, and she saw me. And she caught me, and she found that I couldn't read, and so I couldn't read until 3rd grade. It struggled, but I was smart enough. I had a little bit of dyslexia, and I was smart enough to memorize things. But this was new. I couldn't memorize what I didn't know, what I hadn't seen enough. And so I got caught and had to learn how to read. And I remember all the way up in 7th grade, it was a struggle. Then now I'm a voracious reader, and it's probably my biggest strength is writing. Is writing, ironic. But I remember kids teasing and picking on me, and I had a thick skin. And I remember my teacher saying, "Don't worry about Rob. He's going to do just fine because he knows what excellence is about." And it was about wrestling for me, because when he gets done with that, he's going to find his next pursuit, and he'll be just fine. And she sat the class down, and she said, "You guys don't worry about just being participants." I said, to this day, it's stuck with me. This is York. It's like, whatever you do, whether it's a painter, whether it's a garbage collector, an astronaut, or whatever, be the best you can be in that one area, and you're going to be incredibly successful. And it resonates with me, because I think to myself, if you're a house painter, if you're the best house painter in the world, you're going to be incredibly successful.
Everybody will talk about it.
And if you're the garbage collector, guess what? You'll have the largest trash disposal company in the world. You're going to be incredibly successful. But it takes a great deal of commitment. And I know I didn't answer your question when I go, but to me that message was, what does it matter? How, William, for instance, I don't know if he'll ever make our team in Cornell, and he's very, very successful. I have a 6-time state champion on my team. How can you win a state? Well, he's from Alabama, but he's won the state 6 times. He's 4th string right now as a freshman. He's 4th string on our team. Now, how do you go from winning 4 state titles, 6 state titles? I've got another young man who's a 4-time state champion. The other one has 3 times. They're all backups. So talk about struggles. Talk about adversity. You're like, oh my God, I'm the best thing in the world. Now I'm 4th string. And every one of those kids now is doubting themselves and doubting his, oh my God, all the work I put into becoming great in my sport, and now I got to start all over. What I'm most proud of William is he's outstanding in math and science, and he's focusing on those areas. But it doesn't mean he can't be great at wrestling. And for my struggle is, you know what? Take that same intensity, apply it to wrestling. You got a lot of time, guys. You have all the time in the world. And when I'm not picking on him, but I'm using him as an example, I guarantee you he spends an hour a day, at least an hour a day, completely, maybe 2, 3, wasted. The stupid phone he has, undoubtedly, I guarantee you there's a phone connected to his body somewhere. It'll be here, it'll be here. How many guys here have a phone on? I mean, every single person. It is the single most distracting tool that you will ever, unfortunately,
we didn't have them.
Be damned.
We didn't have them.
We didn't have internet.
I miss those days.
We didn't have internet.
But they say not to fight. They say it's like we shouldn't be fighting technology anyway, even though it is the distraction or whatnot. It's also allows people like us to actually connect. So there's the power behind it.
So for me, I don't think that you see people, it's not always what you see. Everyone has their struggles, but how do you get through those struggles? How did I get through my struggles to become successful in coaching at Cornell? That experience for me, not being able to read, I had a chip on my shoulder that I carry to this day, where I feel inferior, and I'm always trying to prove that I'm good enough. That's just God's honest truth.
How many presidents were dyslexic, right? I mean, that's that same issue.
I think there's something to it. For me, it was something. I mean, I always wanted to prove that I could do it. I could do it on the wrestling grounds. And then when I got out, I became a coach. Now, coaching, for me, is not about teaching moves. And I know the moves, but it's not about teaching moves. And for me, it's about recruitment, about fundraising, about motivation. Because once I get these kids, we get the same kids that every other school gets in. How do you keep those kids? How do I keep you guys motivated? One, we keep it fun as humanly fun as wrestling can be, and also moving forward, and making sure we make your lifestyle, comfortable enough to where you don't ever think you're not quitting. Now, as I said, this guy, I guarantee, has thought about it. I personally have thought about walking away from sport, but I won't do it because I want you guys. So I don't know if I answered your question, but for me, it's all about setting goals, knowing what your goals are in life, writing them down, sharing them with people, and letting them. I live my life. My emotions are on my sleeve. I let you know what I'm going to do, and I get a lot of grief about it. I got a lot of grief early on in my career saying, we're going to win Eastern, we're going to win nationals, and guess what? We haven't won nationals yet, and yet we're a lot closer because I put it out there. Now I got to prove it. I'm not saying to be boastful. I'm saying that to be honest and said all the things that Joe said it resonates with me because that's what I'm all about. It's about excellence and whatever you pursue, whatever you decide to pursue.
That's kind of what we were hammering home to them last night, is that when they stated their goals, it was like they were afraid to say, I'm doing this to be the best. And I always said that's why I always say you can work as hard as you want, but if you don't believe in it, it's like it doesn't mean anything. You've got to believe, and I always say, why not? If you're going to do something, I just believe in that. Go for it to be the best. We said exactly the same. So we said, okay, if you want to be a history teacher, then become, the supervisor of the history department, then of all of Vermont, then the Northeast, then, the country. And, listening to Rob, success leaves clues. We said that yesterday. You hear successful people saying the same stuff. I got a question for Will, being that he's a 3-time state champ. When you won your first state title, sophomore year, was your goal, I want to be all state, or did you say, I want to win the states? Or I'm going to win the states? What was your goal? When your sophomore year, the first state title, you're a high school.
It was the year before. Yeah, I said I want to win, of course.
Because some guys, my question that I'm getting to is they say, I want to place in the states, which means they're setting themselves up to lose. It's already, they've planted the seed. Did you ever kind of catch yourself thinking I want to be all state, and then you realized you kind of set yourself up to lose, or did you never think that way? I just want to help them kind of grasp your way of thinking, which obviously contributes to your success.